Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 21. Week 21 of Jazz Cello Tunes. I'm joined here today by a very special guest, the illustrious and fabulous and quite infamous Dr. Paul Tkachenko here on the Helicon today. If you want to, he's all the way from Moscow, by the way. He's going back tomorrow, and they may be quarantining you
as a result of this performance.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, so we'll let the doctors decide on that. But we're going to play you a tune today. Oh, if you want to see what he does otherwise, please check out his Tkachenko tube.
Tkachenko tube, actually.
Is it Chenko?
Tkachenko tube.
Do you know what? I get that wrong. Don't check out Tkachenko tube because it doesn't exist. But please do check out Chenko tube, and you'll see some more of Paul doing various bits and pieces. And we're going to play you a tune today, which is called "That's a Plenty." Hope you like it. Thank you very much, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that. Please hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.